Let's be real for a second. You can read every book on self-love, watch every motivational video, say, "I love myself," 1,000 times in the mirror, but none of it will truly work if you're missing this one thing. Without it, no matter how hard you try, love will always feel just out of reach. Today isn't about theory or fluff. I'm not here to give you more affirmations or trendy ideas. I'm here to give you something real. A concept that Carl Jung uncovered, a truth that has the power to completely transform how you relate to yourself and every relationship in your life. And if you're watching this, there's a reason. Some part of you knows there's something deeper. That maybe, just maybe, you've been looking in the wrong place. This isn't about simply accepting your shadow or balancing your energy. Those are powerful ideas, but today we're going to apply them in a way that actually changes your life. By the time this video ends, you won't just understand why you've struggled to feel truly loved. You'll have a clear and practical way to shift it, for good. Let's start here. Your relationships, they're not random. The people you feel drawn to or feel deeply triggered by aren't accidents. They're mirrors. They reflect back to you the pieces of yourself that are still unresolved, still waiting to be seen, waiting to be healed. Think about someone who recently stirred something intense in you. Maybe it was love, admiration, or maybe it was frustration or even disgust. That person isn't just some random character in your story. They're holding up a mirror. They're showing you something within yourself that you haven't fully acknowledged. Maybe you keep falling for people who make you feel small or unworthy. Or maybe you're constantly irritated by people who seem arrogant, loud, or fake. Either way, it's not just about them. There's something deeper going on. Today, you're going to learn how to use this mirror, this concept Jung explored, to unlock the parts of you that are craving attention and healing. Because until you do, you'll keep searching for love in all the wrong places. Now here's the shift. The question is, why is this person like that? The real question is, what are they showing me about myself? This idea, what we call the relational mirror, goes way deeper than it sounds. When someone stirs a strong emotional reaction in you, you're often experiencing a projection of your own inner world. Specifically, your shadow, the parts of yourself you've denied, suppressed, or buried. Take a step back and look at the recurring patterns in your relationships. Do you keep attracting the same type of person over and over again? Do you have a knee-jerk reaction to avoid certain people or behaviors? Those patterns aren't just random, they're road signs. Whether it's attraction or repulsion, both are clues. When you feel pulled towards someone, ask yourself, what is it about them that fascinates me? What do I admire? Could it be that you admire their freedom because you feel trapped in your own routine? Or their spontaneity because your life feels too rigid and controlled? On the flip side, if someone really gets under your skin, maybe they come off as arrogant or overly confident. Pause and ask, why does this bother me so much? Could it be that deep down, a part of you fears being perceived that way? Or maybe you have your own superiority complex you've never wanted to face. This level of self-awareness changes everything, but it's not easy. It takes radical honesty. You have to be willing to see the parts of yourself that you've buried, the ones you've been too afraid or ashamed to acknowledge. But here's the paradox. The moment you do, that's when healing begins. Those relationships that push your buttons the most, they're often your greatest teachers. That person who constantly annoys you, they might be the very person pointing you toward the part of yourself that needs healing. It's no accident who shows up in your life. Call it karma, energy, or psychology, certain people appear for a reason. They're messengers, and until you pay attention to the message, the same pattern will keep showing up in different forms. And just like others reflect you, you reflect others too. That's the double-edged beauty of this mirror. You're not just a passive observer. You're also a reflection in someone else's life. That means every reaction someone has to you says just as much about them as it does about you. When you truly get this, you stop taking things so personally. If someone lashes out or pulls away, maybe they're not actually reacting to you. Maybe they're reacting to what they see in themselves through you. Instead of getting defensive, you start showing up with curiosity and compassion. Now let's be clear, this isn't just about analyzing patterns, it's about transforming them. When you start to recognize what's being mirrored back to you, especially in challenging relationships, you can begin to heal those parts of yourself. And as you do, your relationships will start to shift, naturally, without force. But don't expect overnight results. Integration takes time. Start by observing your emotional reactions like a scientist. Don't judge them, just notice, be curious. Why did that comment hit so hard? Why does that person's vibe throw you off? Over time, you'll notice something incredible. The people and situations that used to trigger the hell out of you won't have the same power anymore. You'll start attracting different kinds of people. People who match your healed self, not the broken, defensive, or needy parts. And here's the magic. When you stop seeking love to fix something inside you, you start creating love from within. That's where real connection lives, not in codependency, not in projection, but in shared wholeness. Real love, it starts when you're whole, not when you're looking to be completed. Here's the brutal truth. The parts of yourself that you reject are the same parts sabotaging your relationships. You can't fully love or be loved while still hiding pieces of who you are. Think about the traits you try to hide, the ones you wish didn't exist. That's your shadow. And until you face it, you'll keep projecting it onto everyone around you. Let's say you can't stand arrogance in others. That might mean you fear being perceived as arrogant yourself. Or maybe deep down, you know you carry some of that same energy, but you've shoved it down because it feels unacceptable. Or maybe you keep falling for people who make you feel small. And it's not because they're truly more powerful, it's because you haven't yet owned your own worth. This is where the real work begins, not to become perfect, but to become whole. See, your shadow isn't just a collection of bad traits. It's also made up of your suppressed brilliance, your hidden strengths, talents, and desires that you've locked away because, somewhere along the line, you were told they weren't safe to show. And when you keep rejecting parts of yourself, you split your own identity. You create this invisible barrier that blocks the kind of deep connection you say you want. Because real intimacy, it requires realness. All of you, not just the polished, filtered, Instagram-friendly version. But once you start embracing everything you are, even the messy, uncomfortable parts, you stop chasing love outside yourself. You become love. You start radiating it. And from that energy, genuine relationships naturally unfold. Now, let's make this practical. Anytime you find yourself reacting strongly to someone, whether it's judgment, admiration, frustration, or obsession, pause. That reaction is gold. It's a clue. What are they reflecting back to you? Do you judge someone's vulnerability because deep down, you're scared of your own? Do you roll your eyes at someone's ambition because you haven't fully owned your own hunger for success? This also shows up in romantic attraction, maybe especially there. We are magnetized toward people who express what we've repressed. If you're drawn to someone who's bold and unapologetic, ask yourself, is there a part of me that craves that kind of freedom? If you constantly end up with people who need rescuing, are you unconsciously projecting your own desire to be nurtured? And then there's the subtle stuff, the ways we sabotage relationships without realizing it. Maybe you're afraid of being abandoned, so you push people away before they even get the chance to leave. Or maybe you fear losing your autonomy, so you fight for control in ways that ruin connection. These patterns aren't accidents, they're your shadow playing defense. But here's the good news. The moment you become aware of them is the moment you reclaim your power to change them. So how do we actually integrate the shadow? First, we need courage, because looking at the parts of ourselves we've denied isn't easy. But if you want deeper love, if you want real connection, this is the path. Start by watching your emotional triggers. Let's say someone says something that makes your blood boil. Instead of reacting or blaming, get curious. Ask yourself, why does this bother me so much? Where does this live inside of me? Not to shame yourself, but to understand yourself. Because every trigger is a signal. It's your shadow knocking on the door saying, hey, I'm still here. Then go a step further, give those parts a voice. If you've suppressed your creativity because it was never practical, find a safe space to let it out. Write, paint, dance, make music. If you've denied your need for connection because you're scared of being hurt, practice being vulnerable with people who have earned your trust. A beautiful way to start this healing is through a simple but profound exercise. Write a letter to your shadow. Sounds strange? Try it. Acknowledge its presence. Thank it for trying to protect you, and let it know you're ready to integrate, not reject it. You're ready to walk with all of yourself now. This internal reconciliation is a turning point, because by accepting your so-called darkness, you don't become broken, you become whole. The irony, by embracing your imperfections, you become more magnetic, more trustworthy, more real, and that is the foundation of lasting love. When you show up with your light and your shadow integrated, you stop expecting a partner to complete you. You come to the relationship already whole. That's when things change. You stop needing someone to fill a void. You stop projecting your fears and insecurities onto your partner. Instead, you show up as a complete human being, ready to grow together, not just survive together. This doesn't mean the relationship will always be easy, far from it. But now, instead of running from conflict or collapsing into drama, you see every challenge as an invitation. An invitation to grow, to understand yourself better, to deepen your connection. Because love, at its core, isn't just a feeling, it's a tool for self-discovery. Let's look at this from another angle. If you keep finding yourself in relationships where you feel abandoned, it's not just bad luck. It's pointing to an abandonment wound that needs healing. If you keep chasing people who make you feel secure, it could be because you don't feel safe inside your own skin yet. And here's the truth no one wants to hear: love doesn't fix this, it reveals it. When we treat love like a destination, a finish line where we finally feel worthy, we rob it of its power. Love isn't just a source of pleasure. It's one of life's most intense classrooms. It's the mirror that reflects the truest version of who we are, especially the parts we're still learning to love. Every person who walks into your life brings a lesson, and until that lesson is integrated, the pattern will repeat. Different faces, same energy. Have you noticed it? You keep dating different people, but the same pain shows up. That's not a coincidence, that's a message. Romantic patterns aren't random, they're programmed. And many of those programs were written in childhood. If you grew up believing love was conditional, something you had to earn, you'll carry that same belief into adulthood. You'll attract partners who make you work for their affection, who withhold, who confuse love with approval. Or maybe you learned early on that love and chaos were intertwined. So now peace feels boring, healthy love feels foreign. That's because your nervous system has been wired to crave the familiar, even when it hurts. But you can rewire it. Step 1, awareness. Look at your past relationships like a map. What patterns do you see? Do you always feel abandoned? Do you always become the caretaker? Do you lose your identity in love? Don't judge yourself, just observe. Because every pattern you spot is an opportunity to change. Every insight gives you a new choice. That's where growth begins. The purpose of romantic love isn't just to make you happy, though happiness can be a beautiful byproduct. The purpose is to reveal the parts of you that still need healing. It's in the intimacy of love that your deepest fears, your oldest defenses, and your most hidden dreams come to the surface. And when conflict arises in your relationship, don't just ask, who's right? Ask, what is this showing me about myself? That's where the gold is. Maybe your irritation over a small comment is really about a deep insecurity. Maybe your need to always be in control is a mask for a deeper fear of being abandoned. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Even the people you're most drawn to, the ones you feel magnetized by, carry messages. Think about it. Why are you so captivated by their presence? Is it their freedom, their creativity, their confidence? That pull you feel isn't random. It's your soul recognizing something it wants to awaken in you. If someone's boldness lights you up inside, maybe you've been hiding your own voice. If their passion electrifies you, perhaps yours has been buried under years of being responsible or playing it safe. These attractions are maps. They're guiding you to parts of yourself that are still waiting to be expressed. And yes, heartbreak hurts, but it's not a dead end, it's a doorway. When a relationship ends, you're given a powerful choice. You can point fingers, blame the other person, and fall into bitterness, or you can turn inward and ask, what can I learn from this? That single question can change everything. One response keeps you stuck, the other helps you evolve. Mature love doesn't chase perfection in a partner, it embraces growth. Because real relationships aren't just about being happy all the time. They're about becoming better humans together. They stretch you, they trigger you, they mirror you. And through that process, they invite you to heal, to expand, and to love in ways you didn't know were possible. Ironically, when you stop making happiness the goal and start embracing growth, happiness shows up anyway. But this time, it's rooted. It's sustainable, because it doesn't depend on perfect conditions or perfect partners. It flows from within you. The real transformation begins when you shift your language. Instead of saying, "I always attract the wrong people," start asking, "Why do I keep choosing these people? What part of me is guiding those choices?" That question puts the power back in your hands. You're no longer a victim of fate or bad luck. You become the author of your own experience. But stepping into that role takes bravery. You'll have to face uncomfortable truths. You'll have to let go of old identities, the ones built around being the fixer, the pleaser, the avoidant, the guarded. But the reward, it's immense. You'll start building relationships from a place of self-awareness instead of survival, from authenticity instead of need. You'll attract people who reflect your healing, not your pain. And you'll love not because you need to be filled, but because you're already full. So why do we keep finding ourselves in the same kinds of relationships? It's not a coincidence, it's not just bad timing. It's a pattern, and behind every pattern is a belief. If you're always drawn to people who hurt you, chances are there's a wound inside that's still unresolved, still hoping someone else will come along and fix it. If you constantly chase validation, maybe it's because part of you still doesn't feel seen, doesn't feel worthy. And here's the hard part. Until you become aware of those patterns, you'll keep repeating them, like clockwork. Toxic relationship patterns operate like invisible algorithms. You might change the person, but the dynamic stays the same. Why? Because your subconscious is driving the show. Most of this programming starts in childhood. Maybe love was only given when you performed, or maybe affection always came with criticism. Those early experiences taught you what to expect from love. And now, your adult self unconsciously repeats those dynamics because they feel familiar, even if they're painful. The brain craves familiarity, not happiness, not health, just what it knows. This is why someone can leave a toxic relationship and fall right into another one that feels eerily similar. But here's what changes the game: self-awareness. Start watching your relationship history like a movie. Look for the recurring plotlines. Do you always feel abandoned? Do you become the caregiver? Do you lose yourself? These aren't accidents, they're messages. And behind each one is a belief like, "I'm not worthy of loyalty," or "I don't deserve peace," or "love must be earned." But beliefs can be challenged, and with enough repetition, they can be rewired. Neuroscience shows us this. The brain is plastic, meaning you can change the way it's wired. You've just got to interrupt the old circuits and build new ones. Start by noticing your emotional triggers. If a small delay from your partner sparks a deep fear of abandonment, that's a sign. If a casual comment makes you feel unworthy or judged, that's a clue. Triggers are windows into the subconscious. Don't slam them shut, look through them. The moment you take ownership of your patterns, not blame, but ownership, is the moment you start shifting them. Because as long as you see yourself as a victim, you stay stuck. But the second you say, "Okay, I see it now, I want to change it," you unlock a new future. You start reconnecting with your body, too. Relational addictions, like any addiction, have a somatic element. There's a feeling in the body that precedes the same old choices. That spike of anxiety, the rush of drama, the false sense of security in something chaotic. Start recognizing how toxicity feels, in your chest, in your gut, in your breath. And when you feel it, pause, choose differently. Set boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. If you tend to lose yourself in relationships, create rituals that bring you back to your center. If you're drawn to narcissistic personalities, get crystal clear about what behaviors are non-negotiable. Boundaries aren't walls, they're bridges to healthier experiences. They're a form of self-respect. And when you start making new choices, when you stop chasing drama and start choosing peace, it might feel weird at first. In fact, it might feel boring. That's okay, that's just your nervous system adjusting. You're building new neural pathways, and over time, what once felt foreign will start to feel like home. Remember, this is a process, not a one-time fix. You'll slip up, you'll feel tempted to go back to the familiar. But every time you pause, reflect, and choose differently, you reclaim your power. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for freedom. When you break free from unconscious patterns, you stop building relationships from wounds and start building them from wisdom. You no longer love from lack, you love from wholeness. And that's the shift that changes everything. Because at the end of the day, real love isn't something you find, it's something you create. When you love yourself deeply and unconditionally, love stops being something you chase and starts being something you are. And from that place, every relationship becomes a reflection of your self-respect. It becomes a playground for growth, a container for evolution, a space of mutual expansion, not emotional survival. Because love, it's not a destination, it's a journey. We were raised to believe love is something that happens to us, something we're lucky to receive. But the truth, love starts with you. It rises from within, like a well that never runs dry. When you stop waiting to be chosen, when you stop trying to earn your worth, when you speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, everything changes. Your relationships reflect that new vibration. Your boundaries reflect that new self-worth. Your life begins to align. So if this message hit something deep within you, share it with someone who needs it. Don't keep it to yourself. And if you're ready to keep growing, keep healing, and keep creating a life that reflects your inner transformation, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay on this journey with me. Because love isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. And that building process, it starts today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care of your heart and keep choosing love.